At this point, inflationary pressures look a little more contained, and against that background and the background of a weakening economy that will put additional downward pressure on inflation, that tipped the balance of risks in favor of cutting our policy rate today.
Bank of Canada Governor Tiff Macklem there after announcing a 25 basis point cut to the overnight interest rate. That brings it down to 2.5%. The move could bring a boost to the sputtering economy and kickstart new private investment, but it also signals the ongoing pain being felt by some Canadians. Beata Caranci is the Chief Economist and Senior VP for TD Bank Group. She's in Toronto. And Dawn Desjardins is Chief Economist at Deloitte Canada, and she is in Ottawa. Beata, I'm going to start with you because the TD Economics put out your quarterly forecast, obviously talking about how Canada has been hit hard by the tariffs. Part of, I think, what justified the Bank of Canada's drop in interest rates to a quarter point. A lot of people are going to be happy with that. That will help people to some extent. But give me your sense of the sort of economic outlook, the picture in the near future.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of a stagnant economy. So we're only looking at a little bit more growth than 1%, not very much. So it does suggest that it is an economy that can continue to progress. It's largely the biggest drivers coming off the economy are the consumer and now the housing market, which was in a deep freeze all of last year, and it's now starting to thaw out. So that's terrific. So we're going back to our traditional growth drivers in Canada of housing and consumer, but clearly the manufacturing, export sector, business investment, these sectors are going to be holding us back until there's a strong resolution in terms of what's happening on the trade side.
And Dawn, Deloitte forecast back in June a small recession. As Beata said there, we're seeing not negative numbers, but very, very weak growth. What are your primary concerns right now about the economy?
Well, certainly I'd say it's business investment. It's sensible that businesses are feeling a little on edge. We're never exactly sure where the goalposts are on a day-to-day basis. I guess one of the things, though, that we are looking at and taking as a more positive development is the fact that as long as our goods are compliant with CUSMA, we are able to send them relatively tariff-free. So, that is a good dynamic for the economy. But having said that, no certainty there. And so for businesses, what we're seeing is a real step back, trying to assess, where should I be putting my money? Should I be investing in my Canadian operations? Should I be investing in my U.S. operations? And should I be developing new trading partners? And so all of these things really creating a stressful environment for business.
Give me a sense, Beata, of what you think the interest rate cut by the Bank of Canada might do. There are people that say, well, it could help the real estate market, which would help. That's obviously a key affordability issue for Canadians. If they're paying a lot of rent, they're paying a lot for their mortgage, particularly in Vancouver and Toronto. Will that have any real impact, do you think, on people's bottom line?
I think the way you've expressed it is correct. It's going to help on the margin. It is not the solution. It is not the silver bullet. I think for those who think that if we do enter a recession, we'll be looking at interest rates of the old days of 1% or lower, I don't think that's a realistic outcome in this particular case. The Bank of Canada is well aware that they are limited in what they can influence in the economy. They can provide relief to mortgage rates, to the prime rate, like credit cards and other factors where you're pinned, auto loans are pinned to the prime rate. So they can offer relief there on interest rate cuts. But this isn't an issue that the Bank of Canada can solve. This is an issue that is really in the hands of governments and negotiations.
Okay, so Dawn, I guess my question for you would be then, do you think that there will be a recession? And how important are some of the moves that the government's making right now in order to strengthen the economy and shore things up?
Well, they're important in so much as a signaling to Canadian businesses that, hey, things are going to get a little better. We're going to reduce regulation. We're going to help in terms of building infrastructure so you can actually get your goods to other markets. And those are really important things because when we look at what businesses are saying right now, they have very low confidence. They feel hamstrung by all of the regulations, the sort of burden, if you will. And so if we see indications that it's a pivot, we're moving on, we're trying to really bolster our productivity and really putting the measures in place that will do that, that's important. Now, November 4th will come and we'll hear more in terms of the details. But I do think when we're trying to suss out the direction for our economy, we really do need to be able to unleash some of this money that's sitting on the sidelines as business try to really figure out where should we be investing and what sectors and what countries.
Okay, Beata Caranci, Dawn Desjardins, thank you both so much. I hope you'll both come back. Thank you.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Rising unemployment, another sign of the weakness in the Canadian economy. The unemployment rate in Canada was up in August to just over 7%, according to Statistics Canada. The outlook even starker for people under 25, with unemployment sitting at 14.5%. And that's troubling because rising youth unemployment is usually a sign of a recession or an economic downturn. Sepehr Behroozi Esfahani is a recent graduate from the University of Alberta looking for a job, like many other young Canadians, and he joins me from Edmonton. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
So you graduated this past spring. Maybe just tell me, what did you graduate from? What is your education, your training in?
I graduated from the University of Alberta with a Bachelor's of Computing Science last June. So this past June, pretty recent.
Okay, but not that recent. So you've had some time to look for a job, a career. What has it been like so far?
It's been difficult. It's pretty hard to even get an interview at this point. There's tons of competition and not many jobs out there to apply to.
So what is the biggest challenge? That there's not enough work, or it's not the kind of work you would do? Tell me a little bit more about that.
The market is oversaturated and there aren't enough jobs out there to apply to. And if there are enough jobs, it's pretty hard for new grad students to apply to, because most of them are asking for senior level positions. And even if there are new grad positions, they require many years of experience, which is pretty hard if you haven't had like 3 or 4 internships.
Yeah. I would have thought a degree in computer science would be pretty valuable right now. I imagine that you would have thought the same, right? That there would be lots of jobs for people with those kinds of qualifications.
Yes. When I went into the program, that's what I thought. But since everything's being automated because of AI, many companies are now doing those entry-level jobs in their companies using AI. So now they're hiring less new grads, less beginner level like software engineers, and now they're looking for more mid to senior level like employees.
So it's not a question of a job where you're not getting paid enough. It's really not even that. You can't even get your foot in the door. Is that fair to say?
Yes, exactly. Like the hardest part is just to get our foot in the door. Like just to get a job, just to get that experience. It's hard just to get an experience.
Would you be willing to move somewhere? Are you thinking you might have to do that, either outside of Alberta or a different country altogether?
Yes, definitely. Like right now, you can't just apply to, let's say, Edmonton, Calgary, Toronto, Vancouver. You have to look elsewhere, just about anywhere. It's really hard to get a job right now. So most people are pretty willing to move.
And as you probably know, I mean, this is lots and lots of young Canadians in this boat right now. Are you willing to take a job in a completely different field just to make money? Maybe you've already had to do that.
I actually did, yes. So I got a contract job this past summer, and it was as an administrator for an oil and gas company, but it was contract and they don't need any more workers anymore.
And how much, I don't know if you live with your parents, I don't know what your situation is, your living situation stuff, but how much longer can you go without finding a full-time job that is paying you enough?
I do live with my parents, so like I'm pretty lucky, but I know many people, they have came here internationally, or they don't live with their parents anymore. And I know it's pretty hard for them.
I hope you're not losing hope, though. Are you still hopeful that you can find something?
Yes. I recently connected with a government-funded service. They're called Prospect, and they've been very helpful, like giving me hope, giving me tips how to like apply to jobs. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay, well, I hope something turns up, and be in touch and let us know whether it does. Sepehr Behroozi Esfahani, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.